Hi, everybody. I'm Brandon Buchanan. My partner is Kennedy Cooper.
Hey,
Just
folks.
thanks for being here. We've gone through just quite a lot in our partnership together during the 2022 election cycle, and we met a lot of organizations that were struggling with mobilizing people, building influence and trust, getting people to show up at the ballot box, show up to events, become members, donate, and part of it is there's a lot more competition and eyeballs, and part of it is technology changing right now. I would say like every nonprofit right now is like Blockbuster in 2012 or 2011. Like the end hasn't come. You've still got people that are coming in, but there's new technology that's right here on the horizon. And I think everybody is kind of trying to figure out how not to get left behind. And we've worked with people who've done a very good job of coping with that change and being ahead of the curve. And that means we're ahead of the curve too. And that means we can share that kind of information with y'all. Kennedy,
It's
you're my partner. Hi, how are you?
it's good to be here. It's tough right now at times to create the kinds of trust that you need with folks because, in part, there's just so much media everywhere that you go. Everywhere that you look, there's another video to watch, another meme to click on, another post to look at. Somebody has written another great blog post. How do you choose which stuff to consume during the day is such a difficult choice. And if you're trying to build trust in your community, you have to figure out a way to make people want to engage with you and your brand in particular.
The core steps, like the core things that someone needs to do when signing on to your cause, it's not always as easy as just asking them. You've got to find them. You've got to approach them. And when you break these things down into steps, and we made this, it's a quick look at member activation. And I would bet that your story is a little like this. You're finding people, approaching them, following up, you're getting them on a one-on-one, and then you've got them at a state where they can donate or volunteer. If you want your organization to survive, getting them there is pretty important. And every next step that we're talking about here, it runs on trust. If you've got trust, people will go up that escalator, and if you don't have it, they'll get bored, they'll get distracted, and they'll go do something else.
Consistently, what we saw in the 2022 election is that orgs like Detroit Action that had built solid and significant trust with their member base and with their community were getting the results that they wanted in the election. And that organizations that couldn't find any way to build that trust were not. And a big part of one of the ways that you can build that trust is through a great media ecosystem that tells people what it is that you actually do so that they get excited about you.
Kennedy, do you want to play a video here?
Sure.
Hit something. What do you like?
Oh, I'm just a guest. I don't have the power.
Oh, all right. I've got the power. I'll hit one of these. Uh,
This is our Michigan, and we have the opportunity to stand up against major corporations and take it back. Fight for issues that directly impact your life this November with candidates committed to our real issues.
Clean water,
affordable and reliable utilities,
protecting workers' rights, winning affordable housing.
As Michiganders, we're coming together in solidarity to address our real needs and get big wins for our communities. Meet us at the ballot box and in the streets.
when we come together,
When we vote together, we win.
We win.
this means people can find your events. People can find what you're doing. They know what you're doing. They understand what your cause is. And when you have that, people will start coming to you. One of the other cool things that Detroit Action does, and it's not in a video, it's in real life. They are, when they go door to door, they ask people to talk to them one on one. And they have it broken up like by district. So they're pretty responsive to what people in each district of the city need and care about. it's not really a function of having like the world's greatest personalities. It's a function of having systems that, once they've gotten logged in and they've in your system, they are continually being shown what's next and being asked to be like a part of what's happening. Um, that's kind of the power of having social influence. I mean, for us, we use alt content to generate excitement for an event and get people excited. Uh, I'm going to pull up some video from a Juneteenth show that we did, but I want to kind of emphasize that when people are kind of motivated and they see what you're doing, uh, it's easier to help. It's easier to get them involved. Yeah,
Absolutely. And also when people see faces that they know from their community or that seem familiar, that they recognize, or that just feel like people that they would see or meet or in their community. And that's the power of using local influencers and your members and things like that in these videos. So when Detroit Action's going from door to door, they're asking people, would you film a quick statement?
right.
And collecting all that video. We're also working with influencers in Detroit, getting people that are influential in the music scene, in the art scene, in these different places in the business scene, these different places where these are recognizable folks around town that when people see their face, they go, yeah, that's my neighbor. That's my
Though,
buddy. That's the guy that DJ'd, Ronnie's party last year or whatever. They have that association, and that creates a lot of that trust that we were talking about.
and sometimes those people are people that are on Instagram a lot and posting. Sometimes they're political commentators. Sometimes they're just famous from being in the neighborhood and having funny things to say. Uh, they'll kind of vet themselves. When it comes to this, just comparing this to the typical way of doing things, and we know what organizations like to do, like they like to send bulk email, right? And it's you're running for an office and it's all outbound and it's all here's what I've got, and there's always one more hurdle that you've got to climb. There's one more piece of panic that's in the inbox. Oh, we're losing. Oh, we're being defeated. Oh, you can't believe what this guy or that guy did. And just those engagement rates, if you're in an organization, we don't even have to tell you, are dropping like a rock. Uh, Fewer and fewer people are using that kind of messaging. Uh, More and more people are like you're spending more and more hours trying to keep up. Influencer video is just real people sharing their stories in ways that inspire people to act. That is less expensive. That is less of a pain in the butt. And we just give people instructions. We use regular Google tools on how to record, what they need to say, how to deliver those things. And there's as little learning curve as possible. Um,
Yeah, that's right. It really is like in many ways very simple and it's effective. People are tired of reading a depressing email. They're tired of reading too many emails at all, like Brandon said. And when you put in front of them a short, effective video with somebody that's a member of your community that again they might recognize or at least feel like, yeah, this is somebody who looks like me, sounds like me, is clearly from here, gets the culture, etc. When you put that in front of folks and that person is out there relaying your message to them, they're a lot more likely to take the time to listen, hear what your message is, and want to engage with it.
and that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a big part of the plan on our own website. Social media management is how we do that. It helps us create content that engages people in real life. The problems that we're facing, I mean, you saw like a quick little run through of some of our work in Atlanta. Unfortunately, a lot of this messaging, you're seeing those same problems in Michigan, in Atlanta, in California. You name the place, they're kind of similar problems. They're omnipresent. And so because of that, it's important that we have really good collateral. And evidence isn't just, telling people how important your cause is. Evidence is collateral. It's a card that they can see. It's a graphic that they can look at. It's email that they can see on their phone. It's just letting them interact uh, with your message in their way. Uh, that's
Uh,
pretty important.
a lot of orgs are counting too hard on just sort of the word getting out about the work that they're doing, that people
Yeah.
will just sort of naturally gravitate towards the good work. And while that is a compelling thought, and it does get some results, at the end of the day, a lot of people aren't hearing about the things that you do. And if you don't create some evidence, if you don't create some collateral of the events that you're holding, of the actions that you're taking, of things like that, and present that to your audience, a lot of them are not going to realize a lot of the things that you're doing, and that's going to limit their desire to get involved.
And that makes it, I mean, harder to get donations. Those donors might only see you a couple of times a year. You want to make sure that they're experiencing your org's entire year, in the space that you've got to talk to them. One of the things that we use to make that a stronger effect is geo-targeting. We just find people where they're at and we give them these video messages. And for a lot of people, the ballot box is the most powerful place to put that kind of messaging. Uh, do you know where they're at? Do you have like a physical presence? And actually, do you want to show the common video? I'll put it on. And then we can talk about what it means to have this kind of video, like when you're in line waiting to vote, right? Okay, here we go.
Let's do it.
Peace, what's up, Michigan? This is Common. And we know our justice system has not been right for the people, not truly for everyone. We need a justice system that works for all. That's why I'm rocking with Kyra Harris Bolden for the Michigan Supreme Court. The state Supreme Court has the last call in Michigan on voting rights, a woman's right to choose, and decisions that can change our criminal justice system. As a state representative, Kyra Harris Bolden has already fought to protect the rights of women, for returning citizens, and for mothers and families. As a Supreme Court justice, she will protect the rights and make justice for all people in Michigan. If you have an absentee ballot, drop it in the mail today, or vote in person on November 8th. The hours are 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Make change and make history this election. Vote for Kyra Harris Bolden for the Michigan Supreme Court. Love.
I love it too.
Incredibly powerful to have people standing in line at the polls and they're seeing videos presented to them. You're playing Sudoku or something while you wait in line and the little ad pops up, and it's not just a meaningless ad. It's Common. It's a celebrity that you know from the area that you're in, and he's talking to you about this election. Extremely effective stuff.
And you think of, you train canvassers to spread your message, and your canvasser might be having a good day or a bad day. They might meet the right person or the wrong person. This is something that's an ideal message delivered in your ideal fashion that works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't get tired. Common is living his life right now. He's not thinking about anybody here in this room, but all of you are thinking about this message because you've got it in video and you're seeing it for the first time. If you're holding, I want to expand your imagination. If you're holding a launch event for your campaign, we can target everybody that went. There's no handing out your business cards and like hoping that people will remember you. If you are, everybody is marching at the state court to protest some unjust law. Are those people going to remember you and your contribution? Well, when they're on Facebook posting about what they're going through, they're going to see your organization has a video there, and they're talking about being at the leadership and at the forefront of these issues and encouraging them to get more involved. That is crazy. That's really good. It means a lot. We can do that for you. And I think what we did that really made that work special was, we reached out to those people. We reached out to dozens of people uh, and ask them to get in there. It's a mixture of just creative skill plus innovation. Um,
And one of the great things about this is that when you're working with influencers, they vet themselves.
right.
You might think, oh, anybody that you put this money in front of is going to take it. But no, when an influencer chooses to associate their brand with your brand, they're making a decision that's going to affect their image as well. And they're making that decision very carefully. What I find is that consistently these influencers, they have a lot of questions for me about the org, about the mission, about the event or the action or whatever it is that's involved. They want to make sure that the values of this organization is something that they personally can stand behind and believe in. And so, that's again just another way that all of this leads to a long-term trust building situation with your community.
The thing I think that makes the Detroit Action Campaign stand out is that they made patient long-term investment in meeting these people. This wasn't like a 1 month gimmick. They knock doors when it's not election season, and they like walk people through steps. They talk to them more than once. They make sure that they're talking about something that the community cares about. And it's also worth standing out that when they knock doors, they tell everybody that they meet that they're a political organization. They tell everybody about the commitment that they kind of want from people. Uh, they don't like try and be shy about getting people involved, uh, which, if you've got a 6 month view, you can iterate and you can create better and better versions of the story that you're telling. And maybe most importantly, like the people who are from there are informing what that story is and what it sounds like, instead of like people who are in a board who are across the state or across the country setting things up, and maybe they don't have their finger on the pulse of what people think and how they care about those things. How do we find those kinds of people? How do we look for influencers?
Well, the first way that we look is to start with the org's organic network. So there's already people in your network probably that are a good fit for this in a lot of cases. And we want to try to find those people by working together with you. In a lot of cases, there's somebody that if your org has a lot of members and volunteers and stuff, there's somebody in that network that is comfortable in front of a camera, that's willing to film themselves for a couple of hours, just talking about what it is that makes your org so special. And in general, it's not hard to find these people because uh, if they're already passionate about your org, of course, one of them who's comfortable speaking in front of a camera would be willing to do this.
All,
So
all you've
you've
all
got,
you've got to do is get them on video, and we're the video experts. We'll clean it up and make it look good and all that other stuff. If they are followers, if they like a different organization and you want to reach out to them, we can do that. Almost anything that fits on a list, we can find some sort of way to do it. And
absolutely.
obviously, not everybody's getting these kind of results. These stories that we're sharing about, like mass mobilization, if you are doing something that's good for people, your story probably ain't like this. Like most people are struggling to put all these pieces together. Hopefully, they're getting these kind of results. But I think we talk a lot about age gap and getting
Mhm.
people who are maybe like under the age of 35 up this ladder so that they can start donating and volunteering and helping you change the world. When we talk to people and ask whether they're using vertical video and if they're struggling with younger people, the answer is usually no and yes. Uh, I don't
Yeah.
know. It was harder to get away with it a few years ago, but this situation isn't going to be easier because as technology is advancing, and I don't mean this in a 5 year sense, I mean here in 2023, as technology advances this year, people's level of patience is going way down. Just people's level of tension span is reaching the human limits here. So
And
go ahead.
I think a lot of people also they try something once or twice and they get discouraged.
Yeah.
You can't expect to get those results like when you see the video that gets millions of views and gets shared everywhere overnight off the back of publishing one video. A lot of times the people that get that kind of success have been publishing videos for years to get that video that gets millions of views. And it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that none of their work before that was meaningful or generated any results that move the needle. It just means that to get those really big results, you have to be willing to be persistent and patient and put in the effort over and over again.
Kennedy, you do a little creative work. I mean, you work in horror. You've written horror stories before. Doing social media isn't exactly the same as like writing a single piece of fiction. You've got a pretty popular Twitter as well, and you always talk to me about it being really numbers game. And you don't know which one is going to be the hit. You've got to have systems for being consistent and being on message consistently.
That's right. If you want to have hits consistently, then you need great content that fits your branding and fits your audience coming out on a regular basis all the time. This is how I run my personal Twitter. This is also how we teach everybody to run their orgs.
And you know, you can meet so many amazing people. I've knocked so many doors last election. It was exhausting. But and I met so many great people. But you know, if you don't have a list, you can't follow up with those people. You know, the organization's following up with them, hopefully. But me, as the person having that life-changing experience at the door, it's just got a limit. And you may be having life-changing experiences at your webinars, at your conferences, at your events, at your office, and making them something that's permanent and that you can hold on to. That's just really important. So, Kennedy, what does someone need to do in order to internalize these kind of systems? What do they got to do to be getting these kind of results?
First of all, come network with us on LinkedIn. You can get this whole document right here.
Hey, that's cool.
And this is going to tell you everything that you need to know. Just a lot more elaboration upon everything we're already telling you in this video. Lots more details, lots more actionable steps, things like that. Another step to take is to consider getting on a call with us.
That's correct.
It's not a bad idea to just jump on a call, tell us about the issues that you're interested in growing this year, things like that, and see what we have to say. Because even if we don't end up finding a ongoing partnership together, it's rare that we have one of these calls and we aren't able to give somebody some kind of advice that's useful for their organization.
Our address is ghostcoast.video/call. And when you go there to ghostcoast.video/call, you'll be able to set yourself a date in a calendar, which is really cool. We're just normal people. This will be just an advanced version of this that you're seeing right now. And you just tell us your problems, getting people up that ladder here, and we will do the rest. I mean, we'll find those problems, and lots of people try to externalize this and make it more complicated than it is, or make it about people or ideological clashes or capacity. And usually the answer is just systems. If you've got the system that does this consistently, then you have the consistent results. So get on a discovery call, set up an appointment. You tell me what's frustrating you the most. I'll listen to your story and help you. Kennedy, this is almost someone's entire lunch break. So they really care about it. If you're still watching this, you'd better hit that button and call. You've spent a lot of time thinking about these problems, and so have we, which is pretty cool. And hopefully we've spent so much time working on it that you can get just natural advantage out of the work that we've already done.
Let's work together. So
I think that's it.
That's it.
Let's have a good one, and I'll see you later.